Listeners, I'm talking to you as a proud father. Is that a strange way of me revealing that I've had a child? God, no. I like sleep and not having toys everywhere. But after seeing my special angel sell out his London and Bristol shows, I'm brimming with pride and can report that the show was wonderful, the jokes were a-flowing, and the laughs were aplenty. The Bristol show was the first time I've seen the show in full, and as a proud father, I'm happy to report that apart from one woman...
Is this going to be quite ironic?
No, not. The Bristol show was the first time I've seen the show in full, and as a proud father, I'm happy to report that apart from one woman... Fucking hell!
You can do this, I believe you. Have another go.
The Bristol show was the first time I've seen the show...
Got a meeting at 2:10.
I've got a meeting soon.
Sorry, have another go.
The Bristol show was the first time I've seen the show in full, and as a proud father, I'm happy to report that apart from the one woman in the front row who only laughed when Parsons mentioned horses briefly, it was a roaring success. And we, yes, both of us, are now comedians who can sell out tour dates. Now, on to Falmouth. Welcome to the show, everybody!
The ominous got on to Falmouth there. Oh, well, thank you for joining me in Bristol. I'm going to be honest, I have been absolutely blown away by ticket sales for those two. That was a real surprise. I didn't expect to sell any of them out, so it's been very nice to put the little sold-out labels next to two of the dates of the 10 so far.
And we are recording this after we've only done the two.
We've only done the sold-out ones so far. the slightly fewer... the slower ticket sale ones are coming. Let's call it slower. The slower ones are coming. But do you know what? I'm just delighted. I'm learning a lot. I'm much more relaxed now I've had a sold out day.
I was very happy to hear that you sold out both of them. But two, I would love to know how you felt they all went and everything. Basically, this might be quite tour heavy, but that's fine.
Well, I feel like it's a train that we've been talking about for a while, a train of thought. So, the tour, really happy with the show and how it's gone down, because there was a lot of it I changed the week or two before the tour started. I sort of, I don't quite know why, but I had a big sort of like, shit, this isn't good enough moment 2 weeks before the tour, reworked it. Delighted to say almost all of the changes have worked for the better, which is always a good thing. And it's going down well. Audiences are liking it, which is really good. I think it still needs to be tweaked and improved, and it will just get better and better as the tour goes on. I'm extending the tour at the moment, so...
Look at that!
It's all going all right. Positivity, listeners.
After the two sold out, we're extending... After Falmouth, we might be reducing.
No, there are a couple of dates. It won't be a huge extension. I'm not talking 20, 30 dates. We're talking a couple of Europe ones and a few of the missed out venues.
How have you found doing it yourself?
As I think we said in an earlier thing, it's quite a lot of work. But I love it. Yeah, I love it. I think it's better than Edinburgh.
From our discussions, from our chats, from our voice notes, I think the one at Angel, the one in London, I think that one was it was sold out and like busy, and you got there, and because Angel has so many shows, there isn't a huge amount of time to turn around stuff.
I was a bit stressed about that one because there's quite a bit to do before the show, because there's quite a lot of setup with this show. And also I get audience members to draw self-portraits as they come in. So there's quite a lot going on, and if you've not got much of a switch over from the show before, there's a lot of running. It reminded me of Edinburgh, actually, which is very much like how Edinburgh works. You have no time to prepare anything. You just sort of rush, and then you're frazzled and you go on stage. Whereas in Bristol, we had time to problem solve, chill. You then went on, which gave me a time to decompress. And also meant that the audience were ready for humour.
Yes, Bristol was...
you smashed it.
The doing Angel and having a quick turnaround time and it being like Edinburgh. And I was going to say, you mentioned about having stuff the audience do. You definitely go over and above in that regard. You have like perfectly designed flyers, things for them to do while they're waiting. So I sort of felt like a teacher when I was helping out in Bristol, of putting out pens and
lots
paper.
Of pens and paper. Those are pens, which my margin's getting fucked by the pens. People are taking the pens.
But it was.
There's a running joke. If you go to the show, you might see why. That's funny.
It was not here.
If you don't, that will be a really pointless statement that means nothing to you.
But it was nice to, because the London one I wasn't the tour support because that was an hour long slot, but the Bristol one we travelled down delightfully early to Bristol.
Do you know what? It was really fun, wasn't it? It was just a nice day. We had a pie.
We had a pie minister,
because it's gluten-free friendly.
Oh, and veggie.
And veggie friendly. Whereas I just went in, hammered it down, and it was delicious. I was going to say, had a shit in the venue, left, I really enjoyed myself.
We both said when we got to Bristol, and the show was at 7:30, and we arrived at a pleasing 3:30. Not to the venue, but we just wanted to relax into it. We went to Pyminster, and we were both like, we don't want to be too full for the show, so let's sort of have an early dinner, a late lunch.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than performing too full.
Much. We both ate so much food, and then we're walking around Bristol just going, I'm a bit full.
You know when you try to walk off food so much that you're like, this needs to be... Like, you could have done a marathon.
We did a hell of a lot of steps.
We did a lot of steps that day. But what a day, what a day. That was the first one, and now we've got to do... It's only about 3 days worth of travelling to get down to Falmouth and back.
Fine. But the one thing as well at Bristol that it was nice, I loved performing, and everybody was already up for it, apart from that lady in the front row.
Yeah, she really didn't get my vibe.
Yeah.
I feel she came in on the back of Bristol comedy.
Maybe.
Or an NHS discount was slightly
But you have this fun joke in your set where you interact with, I don't want to give it away, but you interact with the audience in like I know this is silly way.
Yeah.
And everyone was on board, and then you got to her, and then you just went, I won't do it to you, don't worry.
Yeah, I had to, because she looked at me like, you're going to do it to me, aren't you? And I'm going to give you nothing. You know, when you can just sense there's no rapport between you and an audience member when you're doing audience work.
And she was just in the front row in the main bit. But other than that, everybody was so up for it that my 20 minutes at the top was a piece of piss.
It was.
I did crowd work about how high the hand dryer was in the toilet.
It was high though, listeners.
It was.
It's an important thing to say. It was up there.
I actually had to I'm
tall. I'm a tall boy.
I'm tall, mate.
How many 6 foot are you pushing?
Oh, I'm not.
You're not pushing 6 foot?
I would say 6 foot bang on.
Yeah.
If you chat to my partner, I think she'd say 5'11".
Yeah. I'd say that because I'm 6 foot bang on and I'm definitely taller.
But I had to raise...
For once, you're the one rounding up.
I know. But I had to raise my hands to use this hand dryer. And I was
Praise to the hand dryer.
And I thought I was doing some great crowd work. And this one guy was like, yeah, I saw the hand dryer. And I went, was it too tall? He went, no. And I went, why is that? He went, I'm 6'8". It was the right height.
And that was a good laugh.
And that was a good laugh. And that's humour.
It's when you get the audience to do the comedy first.
Oh, gosh.
Wonderful stuff.
But everybody was so nice, so friendly. One thing that was very nice for me to see as well is we got to the venue early. Venue was really nice. Lovely at the Bristol Comedy Festival.
Oh, they do a smashing job. Lovely.
Delightful. People. But we turned up, and a projector is quite integral to your show, I would say.
Yes, I rely on screen for this show. This show needs a lot of screen work.
Oh, you've got jokes.
Oh, you were quite surprised by the amount of jokes in the show, weren't you?
The first thing I said to you was, how did you write? You've never written a joke in your life.
Because normally the running joke of our friendship is I say things loudly and hope for the best, and that's how I do comedy. But I've actually written proper jokes in this show.
Yeah,
there's actually like every bit has some joke.
There's some genuine jokes in it, but the projector adds to it brilliantly. But we arrived, and I would say the projector...
They tried their best. To be fair,
Yeah.
There's been a lot of issues with the venue, not for their fault, because they've been moving around and they've been opening a new comedy venue. So completely understandable stuff. But they didn't really have that sort of nailed in the venue that I was in. So I did say I'd bring down a projector and a screen. I couldn't find a screen. so brought down a projector. Hope that their projector would be good enough. It was just a little bit low because of the way it worked. So we needed to get a screen... which I had in my car because I knew this was going to be an issue.
And a screen arm.
And a screen arm that we can attach the screen to. But we could not find anything high enough to attach it to. So we had to stack pallets, and it would just hope that it wasn't going to fall down mid-set.
It did feel like we were about trying to build a skate ramp. It was that kind of vibe. But it worked.
It worked.
And I was at the back. I was out of the room, actually, for it. But I could look through the doorway, and I could still see it and read it from the back. So it all worked. Much more vivid in its
much
colours.
more vivid than a projector. We were faffing around with the Bill Murray one with trying to get the lights coming down at the right. It is a bit of a faff, but it does make it's needed in this show.
Absolutely, but it was great, and I was glad that I was able to help you calm. Sure, there was a bit of a stress around music.
Oh yeah, we couldn't get the music sorted, but that was all right. But by that point, I just accepted.
We'd accepted.
We knew it had sold out. We were quite happy at that point.
Yeah.
Anything was possible.
And it was. We made it all work, and it was a lovely, and then just a really very nice evening. Sure, we had to go to a service station at 11 and get our food.
Service station dinner at 11. Bleak, but lovely.
But very good. I'm assuming you're feeling very happy about those.
Yes, I am so far. And to be honest, what happens now. It's a case of just like learning from the experience of being on tour, learning about the show, adding more dates, and seeing what happens, rather than going, they all need to sell out. And that was it's about sort of just alleviating pressure from myself a little bit. And it's really hard to not do that, because the reason why you're nervous and you're putting so much pressure on yourself is because it really matters, and you've put a lot of effort in. So, but then you have to just remember that comedy is it isn't an integral part of the way the world operates. More important things are happening. Your stress of the tour that you put on that no one asked you to do can't take up 3 or 4 podcasts worth of content. Although I think might have made it stretch.
But everybody who watched it came out and was lovely. You got some merch and people purchased merch. That's always a
blown me
delight.
away. I always thought that was just going to be. I was going to always have 100 tote bags just forever in my life. Do you need a tote bag, mate? I've always got one.
At one point,
3 in my car.
At one point, you're
84 in the house. Every bag has a tote bag. Yeah. Tote bags everywhere.
Just every
Christmas present forever is. This is a tote bag. Why does it say redesign 2025 on it?
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. You don't need to understand it.
But it was great. It was really nice, and I can't wait for the next few. So we've got those in. Other than tour, how else was your week?
It's been good. I kicked a ball into my own face at football.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Annoying when you do it to yourself.
So what were you trying to do?
So the ball came down from the sky. I went to clear it. It ricocheted off my knee into my nose in a sort of clown-esque.
Did it hurt?
Yes, and annoyingly, because I'm normally, if a ball hits me in the face or the balls, I try and style it out. Just try and style it out. There's a toxic masculinity in me that's like, never see that you're hurt. You never show emotion. If something hurts you, you crack on. You're a rugby player in your heart. I'm not, but you believe you are, so that you don't. I'm sort of, in some ways, I think I've got a little gay chip on my shoulder that's like, if you don't want to, it sort of makes you want to be more toxically masculine in a sporting environment.
I'm going to be honest. I'm now just trying to think of what is the gayest type of crisp.
What's the
Well, you said you had a gay chip on your shoulder.
Oh, right.
And I was thinking, a skip?
That's quite a gay crisp. Prawn cocktail, come on. It's got the word cocktail in.
Fun.
And gays love cock and cocktails.
Twiglets?
No, they're disgusting.
Anyway, I understand your gay chip on the shoulder with...
Yeah, so when a ball hits you in the face, you're like, no, like that. But really,
you're representing all gays at
exactly,
that point.
I am the... but then both my eyes went bloodshot. This was yesterday. I didn't realise until I went to bed, but both my looked like I'd done quite a heavy night. And my nose was just like pounding, and it's been really blocked all day. So I feel like my nose is like big. You know, Red Nose Day?
Yeah, big nose.
It feels Red Nose Day.
I remember really early, I'm not like that at football. If something hurts, I'm not going to be rolling around, but I will be like, my ankle hurts. I'm going to.
Yeah.
But I remember really early on with football, someone clattered a ball, and I was facing away from everybody, and it hit me here, just above my left nipple.
Let's say pectoral
muscle, and everybody went, ooh, because it looked like it absolutely twatted me in the face. It didn't hurt, but I was so lucky it hit me there.
But also, doesn't it feel good when you crack on and everyone's like, oh, and you're like, oh.
But everyone did sort of go, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, no, that was okay. And I think everyone went, ooh,
isn't he strong?
Isn't he with his gay chip on his shoulder? With his skips on his shoulder.
The rainbow laces on. I feel like at football, I'm growing in my sort of toxicity.
Is that good?
No, just like that internal bit.
Yeah.
I'm not externalizing it. It's just there's a little bit in my head just going, like taking it a bit too seriously now, which I'm really having to check in on myself because there's nothing worse than someone who takes it too seriously.
I think when I start coming back, you'll lose that.
Well, when you're there, I'm like, no, I can't be myself. But I
can't be myself.
I can't be myself. I have to be a version, the Emslie version. Reset. No, you know when people get on you when you haven't, you're not pressing or something, and someone will be like, you need to press or something like that in the back, and I'm more likely to go, fuck off, you're not working hard enough now, which was never when I started football. I wouldn't say boo to a goose.
No.
Wouldn't say bee to a geese.
Eh?
No, I don't know what that was either.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to find an edit point, though, isn't it?
Yeah. How was my week?
I was literally about to ask. How was your week?
My week was
Rescue me from that riff.
Very nice. What did I was busy, very busy. Quiz. Didn't win the quiz.
Yes, a quiz. You did get booed, though.
We did get booed at the quiz.
I love that you're getting booed at a quiz.
So we alternate between 2 different pub quizzes because sometimes we're free on that day, sometimes we're not free. So we have 2 pub quizzes that we do. And one of them, we used to have a different name. We then thought we're going to change our name just because it was a bit dull. Changed our name, and as a joke, people booed the fact that we changed our name. As like a fun, friendly joke. I think they're quite cliquey as a group, and I now think they just boo us because we don't do it every single week.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it always the same teams?
Pretty much. There's a few that float in and out, but it's mostly...
Is there like a league table throughout the year?
No, but if there had been a league table, which I used to try and do, we were at the top of that as well.
All right.
But,
humble brag.
So yeah, we got booed at the pub quiz, but I quite like it. I'm very on board with people booing us because our name has oddly got geese in it. Goose, as per your riff.
As per my I thought you were going to try and rescue me away from
I just honk back at people.
What's your quiz name?
What's goose for the goose is goose for the goose. Do you know the phrase, what's goose for the geese is goose for the gander? Something like that, isn't it?
No, we're going back onto phrases again. What does that mean?
Something like, what's geese...
It's not actually a geese, it's a goose.
But you know, there's a phrase...
As in the shorthand for gooseberry.
There's a phrase that's something like, what's goose for the geese is goose for the gander. But we couldn't remember it.
It doesn't feel real.
So we couldn't remember it.
What's good for the geese is good for the gander.
Could be that. So...
Not geese is good.
So anyway...
It feels like good needs to be in there, man. It can't be geese for the geese and a geese for the gander.
So we couldn't remember it, so we just went, what's goose for the goose is goose for the goose. And if we think we've had a good week, we put a honk honk on the end. Honk honk.
It's quite cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
Do you know what? I thought it was going to be shit when you said it was good, but I actually really like it.
But it's also a little bit shit, and that's fine.
Yeah, but it's not trying to be like smart. You know, like fancy football teams.
Yeah.
Where everyone's got a football player and they've tried to do a pun on it.
Yes.
And
who's yours?
Well, mine is the wankiest of names. I'm aware of this. Mine is player-based pun United.
You joking?
Yeah,
that's terrible.
And I've done that. Like if I was to do it, I presented it with like a shit-eating smile on my face. So
mine is Smith Rowe your boat. The player,
yeah,
Emile Smith Rowe.
You've joined the player-based pun.
I kept the same name for years, which was such a Saudi little Mane, which is a quote from The Office made into a football player's name, and then he left the Premier League. But this is dull for anyone that doesn't like fantasy. I hate listening to people chat about
we're not
Fantasy
going to talk about it, but it's like fantasy names for pub quizzes have always been a tricky thing.
Yeah, a lot of people put quiz in the title. Quiz Dina Aguilera, Quiz Eubank, etc., etc.
I know some of the more ruder ones that went through my head.
So we
won't, because we're above that on this podcast.
So we have been avoiding those.
So you are quiz on your tits.
So we have avoided those. That's our name, and we did get booed. But other than that, I've had a lovely week.
Booed at a pub quiz and watched Fulham lose to Manchester United.
Yeah, I did watch that as well. But I also had some lovely gigs. Obviously, we had Bristol. We'll always have Bristol.
Yes.
I then, on Friday, had 2 gigs. I did a Bring Your Own Baby gig in Chichester, which was lovely. To anybody that doesn't know, that is where you are performing to
no one.
Parents.
You're performing, but you're performing to parents and babies.
Yeah.
But it feels like you're performing to no one because no one is paying attention to you.
Oh, I had a great time. They were lovely. And
they're not always.
No, they're hard gigs.
By the way, they're brilliant gigs run by I sort of turned into a chicken then. Sort of just a defensive chicken, just to make very clear that they're run really well and they're really good gigs. But there takes a specific type of comedian that can really do them very well. And you're one of those people. I can't, because you sort of need to just talk over the noise.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. It feels like the room aren't paying attention, whereas the parents are, mostly, if their child isn't screaming.
It's up to 10 months old, so you can do a normal set. I think that's important to say. So you do your normal set, and there are babies who will be crying, being fed, breastfed, whatever, getting changed. Lots of babies just running around in Chichester, which I thought was really fun.
That's sweet.
Yeah, yeah. And I was on a wireless mic, so I sort of ran around.
Was it in a venue that was big enough for that kind of thing? Not enough, but
But there was a little kid came behind me on the stage.
It feels like, do you know what it feels like when I do?
It's a festival.
I've only ever done it once, but it felt like I was a supply teacher in a room where people weren't listening. Boys, do you know what I mean? I felt very much like I'd lost the room.
Oh no, I am all for them. I think they're wonderful. I think
they are brilliant, and I think the thing is, parents love it because at that point in being a parent, you're in the trenches. You've got young children, no sleep. You need something.
Well, it's something
different
for the parent as well. The idea is it's not comedy for a 10-month-old baby. The idea is you bring your baby along, but actually it's for you. So anyway, I did that.
Although your goo goo gaga bit was.
I've now got.
You've got a baby set.
I've got like 7-8 minutes of baby gear now, which is.
Hasn't written a show, but he has 8 minutes of baby gear.
I tell you what,
you really need to bring children up in your hour-long show that you're writing.
So I did that. I then, because I was gigging in Hassocks that evening, which is only like 40 minutes drive away, I went and sat in a Pizza Express and I eked out eating some dough balls and pizza for 2 hours. But I did tell her, I did say to the...
I'm going to be using your premises
effectively
for a long time because I cannot be bothered to explore the joys of Hassocks.
They were empty, and I said, I do need to do a bit of work. Can I be near a plug? And the only plug one was a 4-seated table. And I went, I don't want to take the piss. And she went, we are so empty, sit where you want. And then I did say to her, I am going to be a while. And she went,
great. Yeah,
good.
glad I promised you the biggest seat in Pizza Express.
But then it was 2 hours. And
did you lie across it? Sort of just like
there was no
take as much space as you can.
About 4 people came in, so it all worked out. So I did my work, then went over to Hassocks, then had a gig in Hassocks. Now, lovely gig. Like this little like Narnia pub. You walk into it and it's full of Hassocks locals playing darts, pool, having a chat after like working.
Quick question: where the hell is Hassocks?
Between Brighton and Crawley and that vibe. That bit.
Okay.
And so. Somewhere there. It's about an hour.
You should do with the weather with that level of geography.
Somewhere there. But anyway, turned up there, this pub, and I walked in. And I was like, "Oh, it's going to be like in the corner of a pub." And they were
the worst for people who don't know comedy. That is the worst place. There's nothing worse when you've travelled a while to get to a pub. And then you look around and you're like, oh no, it's just me in the corner of the pub, isn't it?
So I then asked the staff, and the lovely lady said, just go around the bar and you'll see a door, go through it. I walked through this door. It opened into a 200-seater venue with like a glitter ball. It was beautiful.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing. And so turned up. Now, the stairs...
Glitter ball is very you.
The stairs onto this stage were quite steep. So to get on and sound test my guitar and sound check and everything, got up, not a problem, absolutely fine, got
Smashed
down.
out the park.
Then the show started. Wonderful Stephen Grant was emceeing, sorry. Rachel Fairburn was opening, both brilliant, absolutely smashed the gig. Interval. I thought, we're in for one here, we're going to have a good gig. Everyone seems up for it, everyone seems lovely. I then got introduced onto stage, and the stairs... Now, I've got size 12 feet. I would say...
As do I. This is the Size 12 Feet podcast.
Well, that's what we should call it.
Damn, that's better than Parsons and Emslie do talking.
I would say the stairs were designed for maybe people with size 4 feet.
Do you know what that's like? Everywhere in Amsterdam or the Netherlands.
Really?
Like literally, when you go into any of the houses in the Netherlands, all of this, they're big people.
Yeah.
But the stairs are like 5 foot per stair,
Yeah.
so it's like a little climbing mission. But the ledges are like a climbing wall.
It's mad. And so I thought, I'm going to get ahead of this by hopping the last step.
So you thought I'm going to 2-in-1 this.
2-in-1 it. I've got long legs. I've got big feet. I'll be fine. There were 180 people looking at me, clapping and applauding me on. I slipped on the last step. I genuinely fell.
Oh, there's nothing better than a pratfall.
I
love it.
I fell into I caught myself in like a press up. It looked a little bit like I was Mr. Motivator. Come on! So I caught myself in this press up, and Stephen so sweetly, the audience collectively, because loads of people when I've told them this have gone, oh, did the audience find it funny? And I went,
They
no.
probably gasped.
No, the audience were concerned for me.
Yeah.
They went collectively, and I thought in my head,
That's not a good sound. That's not how I want it. That's not how I want it. That's so embarrassing. God.
I got up.
Oh my God.
I pushed
It's
myself.
200 people.
Yeah, I pushed.
Wait, like, this is great. And then you stack it on stage and they go, the worst sound is 200 people going,
I then did like a push up, got myself up.
like you're on a surfboard.
Yeah. Then I looked at Stephen, and he so sweetly looked at me and just really quietly, so nobody else could hear, he just went, the only way is up from here, which is so nice, so nice.
It's funny.
And I could tell
Quite
as well.
literally as well.
Yeah,
You were lying on the floor at the time.
it was so.
The flower.
I did want to go into
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah. So it was so nice, and I genuinely cannot tell you what I said in that first 2 minutes. I do not know what was said.
Really? I mean, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Ooh. Not sure. Sorry, listeners, you wouldn't have heard that. I thought there was a big flash. You might have seen that on the cameras. And a big storm has just... Oh, that's proper thunder.
Rumbling in.
If you can, I hope the mics pick this up because it's a lovely rumble of thunder.
Can't wait for the internet to drop out because of this.
Hey, how it takes more than that to drop the internet in Crystal Palace. It really doesn't. Right.
So I pushed myself up. I had 2 minutes of... I basically riffed around the fact I'd fallen over. And the audience...
You've got to mention... Oh. Imagine if you didn't mention it. Imagine if you just cracked on.
Just done a marathon.
The thing I've just done. Guys, I've just done a marathon recently. That would be so good. That would have been the... And then fall down the stairs as you leave. You leave the stage and fucking stuck in there. Stephen Grant comes on and goes, that's just what he does. Terry Alderton. And I was thinking of Terry Alderton as well, wasn't it? Oh my God, that's funny.
Didn't reference it. Cracked on into the material. But if we're not serious about it, but early on in your stand-up career, you wouldn't have been able to do anything with it.
Well, you would have desperately tried to style that out. Wouldn't you? You would have like floundered around, going, but you wouldn't have had the sort of.
But you don't.
It is hard though, because I mean, I fall over on stage all the time for fun.
That's part of your act, but you don't have the sort of ability when you've just started. For example, a lot of people when they're in stand-up, they'll pull the mic out, and the mic might be a bit stiff, and it'll hit them in the face, or it'll hit them somewhere.
Oh, some mic stands can make you look like a fucking amateur. There are certain ones that you go somewhere and it looks really well and like really well set up and stuff. I've got one club in my mind here that I'm not going to say, but it's like a proper lovely club, and you go on stage and you get the mic and it's like it's not yielding, and then you look like a twat, like you've never done comedy before. Hello. Nothing. I'm just wishing I'd listened to Hill's Jago.
So
that is such a niche,
such
a niche reference.
We'll leave that there.
Comedians.
But I then did 2 minutes of falling of something. Don't remember. Definitely mentioned that I was
clowning.
I was definitely mentioned that I was sad that there wasn't a camera filming it. And then anyway, carried on, did my set, and then I went into marathon. Done something I'm proud of recently.
Yeah, that's his opening line. Everyone.
And I was like, ironically,
at every gig since he started,
pretty much. And then I finished my set, and I made a point of saying, "Now, everybody, I'm going to walk very carefully down these stairs."
Oh, that's nice.
That got a nice big laugh, and everybody was so lovely. But what
I love that.
What just a something that hasn't happened to me before, and I'm so glad that we're in a position where we can be like, yeah, that happened, but it still was
standing on the lead and it coming out. There's nothing worse when you're wandering around, because I move a lot on stage, standing on the lead and then the mic lead just dropping out.
Yeah,
nothing worse.
So that was a lovely couple of gigs and a fun old thing that happened. But I have come over to yours today, and when I came in, there was this little,
like a sort of the sound of a tattoo parlour.
Yeah,
do you know, like a sort of.
And I was like, what the hell is going on, mate? What's happening? Do you want to tell me and the listeners what's happened?
I bought, because I'm sometimes absent of mind, and I keep getting targeted because I've had Invisalign for what I think since I was born.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
But
my teeth have done an amazing thing, because they were genuinely looked like someone had reversed a car into them.
That's bollocks.
No, they did. Honestly, I look back at old clips of my teeth. There's nothing wrong with having wonky teeth, whatever. But
your teeth?
Wonky teeth.
No, look back at clips of your teeth.
Well, yeah. Well, when you're talking,
okay,
we've done stuff to camera before I had Invisalign.
Fine.
And I can't not look at and they're a bit of an insecurity, and I thought, well, it's a fixable insecurity, because that's what you should do. That's what they tell you in therapy.
Yeah.
If you can spend money to fix an insecurity, don't process it and actually try and be okay or comfortable with it. No, change everything. That's always been my approach, and I'll do that till the day I die. But I thought, right, I'm going to get straighter teeth. Cool. And then this one comment just before I did it, I was on YouTube. I think it was my special, a clip of YouTube, and one of the comments was, "Wow, those are some British teeth," and that was enough for me to go. And
I apologise for writing it.
And that for me was like, oh, nice, lovely stuff. Yeah. Shake my hand. Well done.
Well done.
You didn't let me down. You never do, you little scamp. Please, by the way, as you leave this podcast, fall over.
I won't be.
Okay. I'll do the prep.
So anyway, I
thought, right, do you know what? I'm going to fucking get this sorted, because I don't like looking at them. Other people seemingly don't.
Well, some prick on the internet.
Some prick on the internet, and another person in my DMs who didn't like me that much and decided to ridicule me because of my teeth. You know, people like that exist, and it's fine. They're very sad people with very sad lives. But I thought, well, fuck it, I'll just bosh it on a credit card, see what happens. But now I've got this retainer, which and they get a bit gross after a few weeks. You clean them.
Smell a bit like cum.
They smell like cum. I don't know what it is. After 2 uses, I think saliva and cum are the same smell. I don't think people... they smell like cum. Retainer cases and retainers smell like cum. Unless my teeth smell more like cum than...
Yeah,
maybe my teeth are made out of cum.
I didn't think we'd be saying that as much. Anyway.
Well, we found this episode title.
I think my teeth smell like...
Anyway, I have cummy teeth, but Instagram, his teeth are so cummy.
Don't be giving the trolls any more ammunition. You fix them.
My straight cummy teeth. I was targeted by, I think they're called Zuma, and they're like these little ultrasonic cleaners, so they basically vibrate the water and then it cleans your retainer case. And they show you the video of a really horrible one going in, and then they come out a second later and it's like, God, they're clean. Can I just say that doesn't happen?
It's bollocks.
It's because it's it gets out any stains. Mine have got a bit of turmeric going on because your boy likes a curry, so I've got that now forever. Of course it cost me close to 80 quid.
You're joking.
Of course it did.
And you bought it via Instagram.
Not via Instagram, via the Zuma website.
But did
there were a lot of good reviews that they'd hand selected and put on their website.
Clearly. So this little thing sits there, and how long do you have to use it?
So
how often?
No, you just pop it. What I do is I put my retainers in there in the morning, vibrate them, give them a little vibrate, forget that they're there. Yeah. Then remember to put them in after lunch, and then before dinner I'll take them out. Put them in. But we're not that far off now. I've got some more coming, and then I'll have very straight teeth and a very expensive ultrasonic thing.
I can't believe you've got an ultrasonic.
But I think I buzz it for quite a few times. I'm not sure if you're supposed to. I think that they're like, just 1 5-minute buzz, and I'm like, I'm buzzing the fucking shit out of this fucking retainer.
Oh God. I just find it really funny that when I occasionally go on Instagram, if I get an advert, I think, who is behind?
Mine is all hair loss.
Who is?
I don't have an issue
got
with
good
hair loss.
hair.
I've got a cap on though. That's often a little disguise, isn't it? Hinge. But I actually really like bald men.
All right.
I don't know why I said that. Pep Guardiola, call me.
None of us were having a.
No, I say they could have. I had a worry that the thing I said would misconstrue and say, "Aren't all bald men funny?" And I'm like, no, they're fit as well. But basically, I've got a good head of hair, and there's nothing wrong with balding. But I just get targeted for bald. Like you might lose your hair. It's like it's trying to give me an insecurity.
Have you Googled it though? Has there been any ever?
Maybe it's that same guy just paying adverts, going, "Yeah, shit teeth, but you might have fixed those. Come teeth, but we're gonna get you with your hair now."
Has there ever been anything you've Googled? You must have at some point.
No, I don't think so.
Grey hair?
Grey hair? No, all right.
No.
Well, this is great for my confidence.
I've
got lovely grey hairs.
The occasional greys that I get, don't mind them.
Yeah. Go grey gracefully. No, I will. If I get a little bit more grey, I am going to put some colour through it.
Really?
Only at this age. When I get to about 40, I won't.
Well, how was that?
5 years, 6 years. I want 6 years of similar coloured hair.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just always look at the adverts on Instagram and I go, who buys this? It's you.
Yeah. Not all the things. Not
Have
everything.
you left a review?
No, but I did get asked for one today, and I thought, nah, I can't be asked. let the people make. I'll just do it on a relatively popular podcast and slam them for it.
Have you seen? I always find it mad in like Amazon comments, Amazon reviews, where people. This is my little 30 seconds of madness. This might be our new feature.
Maybe we found a segment. Let's see how good this bit is.
I find it baffling. It's not going to be good, but just to set your expectations.
At the end of the podcast, we've had a few laughs.
Yeah.
That's all we set out for.
That's kind of our vibe.
I find it mental. Boring. Some of it will be funny.
That within Amazon reviews, you will have people that are reviewing the product. You then have people who are reviewing the delivery.
Review. Oh, the delivery, the logistics
and
of
they're
it.
like, one star, didn't arrive. And you're like, well, that's nothing to do with BlackBerry. Well, I'm ordering BlackBerries. Yeah. That's nothing.
So at least someone is.
That's nothing to do with the Invisalign retainer comfrey case.
Have comfrey teeth.
But I'm like, I just find that mental that people sit there and 1 star. Because it's nothing to do with the product.
No.
That was 30 minutes of madness. 30 seconds.
And don't we all agree?
Yeah, probably.
I think that's about it then. We'll leave on a high.
I think we'll leave on that. Fuck it, sometimes that's what you get.
This is what Parsons and Emslie do talking is. We are just doing talking.
We are doing talking. So you can, if you would like to, see both of us on tour from now, because we are on all of the tour dates.
Yes.
Falmouth.
Unless you listen to this very late on and you're like, is he coming to Luxembourg? I might have a Luxembourg date coming. TBC on that one. But Luxembourg listeners, of which I'm sure there are loads, do keep an eye out for those. But yes, so the next dates are Falmouth, and then we head off to the stand in Edinburgh and Glasgow, and then Nottingham, Salford, Liverpool, and then Norwich and Brighton. On our Edinburgh and Glasgow dates, I've just got the simple task of getting from Edinburgh to Brighton for that evening. Yeah, you're mad.
I've managed to pick the furthest possible place away. So anyway,
this is what happens when you just say yes to all gigs.
Yeah, but that'll be fun. Come on. I'm having a lovely time. Should I be working? Probably. Need to be working now. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. You can watch our YouTube, as we always say. And please do like and subscribe on both YouTube and also on the podcast platforms. That really does help us. It helps you. It means we can produce more of these as well if you're enjoying them. If you're not enjoying them, grow up.
Yeah, come on, get more taste.
And then finally, follow us on Instagram, Parsons and Emslie. Don't follow us on anything else. Who cares? Other than that,
well done. You did all of it.
I did all of it.
You did all of it. Normally, I can see the fear in your eyes. You're like, I think there's something about reviews.
You sat and sort of were like, oh, well, I'm useless now.
I don't need to jump in.
My boys managed it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and listening. It's been a pleasure. Never a chore.
So be good to yourselves.
All right. Bye-bye.